Hi, my name is David Medina. I'm a wedding photographer based out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. Our studio is called Hidden Kiss Studio, and we've been using Graphistudio since our beginnings in 2005. We have used several different types of software to design our Graphistudio album, from Photoshop, like most people. Then we use a page gallery by Jovan, which is a great app. Then for a while we use Fundy, InDesign, and now we're using Smart Album too. There are many great options in the market. You can design a graphic studio album using graphic software, which is free and is great. If you want a third-party application, you have Fundy Album Builder, you have Album Stump, and then you have Smart Album too. Our preference, all three are great, and they're very easy to learn and use. But our preference right now is Smart Album 2, just basically for the reason they're very simple to use, very easy, very fast, very flexible, very intuitive, and very powerful. It allows me to design using templates very quickly. I can modify those templates, or I can actually design from scratch the same way I used to do when I used InDesign. So it really lends itself to the way we design albums in our studio. So I will not go through every feature the software has. The Pixeloo has some great tutorials in their website that you can go through it. It takes very short because it's so easy to use. But I just wanted to point out the things that I really like and why it makes designing Graphistudio albums so easy and fast. It has all the specification for, I would say, 99% of the albums from Graphistudio. If not, you can actually enter them custom. So you have those two options. And one of the first things I really like about Smart Album 2, which they just came out early this year with it, is they have the online proofing solution, which totally integrate with a Smart Album. As you can see here, I have several recent albums that I designed. One of them is waiting for feedback, another is approved, another one's waiting for feedback. You can see the link here, will take you right straight to the album, and here it allows you to go into the administration area of the online proofing solution. One of the great things beside this about the online proofing system is that it communicates, integrates with the app. So when a client leaves comments, those comments will show up within the software and allow me to communicate with my client dealing with the comment system within the software. So I can look at the comment, do the adjustment, do the changes, and right there respond saying done, or it cannot be done, or whatever is the message you want to communicate to your client. So it's that integration, and then automatically will upload the changes into the online proofing system. So it's all very quickly, very easily done, very intuitive. So let's start by designing an album. One of the strategy I use, and I owe this to Funny. He was the one that taught me this, which is very great. I think it expedite the design of any album, no matter what software you choose to use. Is by, once you select the images you are going to use in the album, is by opening them on Bridge, reorder them in the sequence you want them to be used in your album, and then renumbering them in that sequence. This will allow you, once you import your image on your software or preferences, to have the images in the proper order you want them in your album, which will expedite substantially your design process, because you pre-design your album in Bridge. So that's one of the things we do, and you'll see when we import images that help us expedite the entire album design process from hours and hours to a very short time to design. And one thing in that is there's a lot of hype being said about, you can design an album in 10 minutes. Just be very careful with that, because an album creation is an artistic process. It's not just dropping images on the spreads. It has to have a graphic design sense to it. It has to have a purpose. It has to tell a story, and that's something that takes time. So yes, we want to expedite designing albums, but also have to be beautiful craft, artistic pieces of art that your client will treasure, and it will help you in the long run by identifying your brand with very unique, very well designed, very artistic design, very thought out designs, wedding albums. So don't fall into the hype of let's design this in 5 minutes, because what you're going to have is a very badly designed album in 5 minutes. You're going to have just a year basically. So let's be careful with that. So let's start with the design. The first thing you want to do is hit on new. You'll see that it has album company preset, or you can go custom. It has Graphistudio, among other album companies. And the neat things to note is they have both Graphistudio US or have a studio non-US, which is the metric system. So if you're in England or you're in Spain or Italy, you can use the non-US for metric. Or if you're in the United States or Puerto Rico or Mexico, you may use the graphic US. Then you choose the format, square, landscape, or vertical. And you see that once you click, it will give you different size options below. So let's choose landscape. And you'll see they have the smaller ones. It has is 5x4, and the biggest one 18x14. I believe there's a 16x20 if I'm not wrong. So if the size is not here, then you go custom and you put all the specification using the print and bind document that you get in your trade area. As document, you should have it, you should know it, you should read it and understand it. If you have questions, just contact your rep, and it will help you understand this whole process and minimize any mistake that you may make. So let's choose a 13x9.5. Here in album type, it tells you all album except baby book. That is not quite right. You can design the baby book on a third-party app because it's just an 8x8. So basically, you would choose a square and choose 8x8, and you can design a baby book in a smart album. But I think what the reason they did this is that they want to point out that you can design from start to finish your baby book within the Graphic Baby Book Designer that you can find in your trade area. So let's pick landscape 13x9.5. Let's hit next. Then the next thing asks you is what template library you want to use. I always choose all templates because I don't want to be limited, but you can choose them. One thing that is nice about Smart Album is that you can design using the template very quickly, or you can actually custom design. And once you create your own custom template, you can save it. And Smart Album is so smart that it will give priority to your design, the templates you design, because they know it's yours. You can also start them. So whenever Smart Album is looking for a template, it will prioritize the ones you give a start or the ones you design. So that's very, very, very smart. The next thing you want to choose is the border. If you want to use a border, they have some pre-measured styles of borders. You can see how fixed they are here, 4 points, 2 points, whatever. We don't use that in our studio. You can also choose the color of the border. You can choose the color, your spreads, and we do use gap. We use a 8-point gap between images. Then hit start. It's gonna ask you where to save it. I created in my desktop for the purpose of this tutorial. I created one is called tutorial. So I'm gonna save it there and just give it a name, whatever. You're gonna leave it my new project. But usually what I do is give them use the name of the couple, so I can quickly identify. So he already created the album. Now the next thing we need to do is to import the images. It can be done as easily as drag and drop here. Let me minimize this a little bit. So I can just go here and find my images on the tutorial. Click on them, just choose them all, and it will import them real fast. One thing that you have to keep in mind, all these apps, all these third-party apps, including graphic software, what they will do is create a proxy image, a smaller JPEG image that you will use when you make the design. Once you export, the app will match the original high-resolution image with your design, and it will export using the high-resolution image. So while you're inside the software, you're using a proxy. So if you sometimes you may stretch it too far and you will see some pixelization, don't worry about it. Just check it when you export it. That's what you want to make sure that it is the right size. One of the nice things about this software is that when you export, you can export as a PSD document, which each image is in its own layer. You can export it as an InDesign document, again with each image in its own layer, and you can export as a JPEG or as a PDF. So you have all those options at the export time that gives you a lot of flexibility. And again, that's with my theme of simplicity, flexibility, intuitive, and powerful. So the export is very, very flexible. Real quick, this is the canvas. This gray line below the camera is extremely important. That's the timeline. You can, of course, you can hide a lot of these things around by clicking here and just get a nice view. This here button here in the right top is for the export. It will basically ask you if you want to export for proofing or you want to export for printing, and then you can go on the specification. There is very few preferences you have to care about. You choose which app you want to use for editing, which is Photoshop in this case. The only one you have to pay attention is image quality. In image quality, you want to have it 100%, which is the default. The sharpening preset is medium, which is the default, so that's recommended. I will keep it that. And this one is here is a critical one. Image resolution warning. If you stretch your image on the spreads too much, it will show a triangle. It will tell you how much have you stretched that triangle beyond this threshold that you set here. So I want to know whenever I stretch the image 120% over my size. So that way it gives me a choice. When it gives me the warning, I can go to Photoshop, do the stretching there, and then just come back and make sure that the image is the highest quality possible. So you can use anything here. Some people use 150. Some people want to know as soon as they go over 100. So this is up to you which one you use. So the way, see, when I created the image, all my images are you can filter them by the file, stored by file name. That's when I created them, when I export them and open them in Bridge. Remember, I said that I renumbered them, I reordered them in the order I want them to use in the book, and I renumbered them in that order. So that's when now all my images are set in the sequence that I want. There's several ways you can design the album. You can just basically drop the image on the main on the spread on the canvas, and you'll see here in the timeline it shows the first spread. You can also let me delete that. You can also just throw it in the timeline and it will do exactly the same thing. So you have those two options. If you want to see the different options you have, just press cursor down and it will quickly give you different options that you can have for design. You can go with the up and down, you can go back and forth, and you find the one you want. Let's say you don't want that. You can double click on the spread and it will come into the freehand designer, which is very neat because there you can actually move things around. You can see it shows the centering line. Just make sure everything is in center. Right there is in center. And then here's where you can test. I want to make this full, so I'm just going to stretch it all the way and it will stretch the image. I want you to notice something. When I do this now, when I stretch this, see how the image jumps? Because what you're seeing here, this green line is the safe line. You're not seeing the cut line. So what the program automatically is doing is when you resize to be a full spread, it's taking into account the cut line and it's moving the image accordingly. If you want to see it, the only thing you need to do is go down here and next to where it says 1:1, and then just click here, and now you can see the red line, which is the cut line. So you see the cut line that is based on what Graphistudio specs are. You can see a safe line, which is based on Graphistudio specs, and you can turn the cut line, and you can see the area that is cut is gone, and that way you can see exactly how you design it's going to be. So you can use either one. So let's go back. I just click back here, and I just go here. I forgot. Let's double click. You go back to the designer, and you want to add text. Just select the text tool, click there, and then just Mary and Paul. You can actually change the type of font that you want to use. You can change the size, very precise, which I really love. Because by doing this, you can also do it manually. You can bold it, you can have it italic. You can basically change the space between the lines. You can change space between the letters itself and the characters, and you can change the spacing between the lines. So let's say I just Then once that's done, I can actually move it, and you can see this is one of the neat things it has. You can see the line, so you can make sure that it's properly aligned and center. So we're done with the first spread. Let's go to the second one. So here's what I do, just to make things fast, because I basically mentally pre-design my book on Bridge and renumber them. I can choose which images I want in the second spread. Let's say I want to keep it all the way to these images in the first spread. So I just basically drag those images on the timeline, and it automatically creates the next spread. And this time you can rotate between the options by using the up and down arrow keys, or you can just keep designing your album by just adding images to the timeline. So that makes it very easy to design, because let's see here for the group of pictures, because I can very quickly just say, okay, this is the images I want to use in my spreads, because I mentally pre-design the album in Bridge. It's and then the image you use, as you can tell, are being darkened. So here I put one. See, here I made a mistake, because I wanted to have these two images plus this image here on that spread. So it's very easy. Just move it to that spread. So you can move things around. You can, let's say you want to move images. See, when it comes here, it's just red. It's because this is a landscape and this is a vertical image. So it's telling you, it's warning you, hey, this won't go well here. So what you can do, you can actually do two things. You can go to designer mode, or you can just basically drag it and press command, and it will allow you to drop the image there. So let's keep going. And I basically design my album. I'm done. So if I just want to go, I just hit the left and right key. So basically using the left and right key and the up and down arrow, you can basically look for different designs that may work for what you're trying to do. So that's how simple and how easy it is to design an album using this software. One thing that is very neat, let me see, okay, let's use this one. I'm going to click here. You can actually, you go to up and down arrow, it will give you different options very quickly. Well, let's say that one, I like that one. I wouldn't have to do much of that because I really like that one. But let's go to design it so I can show you other things. See, when I have this image here, see the yellow thick between the two images? It's telling me they're in the right spacing that are determined at the beginning, the 8 points. So if I just move this here and I just bring it close, when it goes yellow between the images, it tells me that they're in the spacing that I chose, and by having the blue lines are telling me that the image are aligned. Same thing, let's say I make this image, this image was bigger, but now I want to make it the same size. First, when I get it close, it will tell me there's a line in the bottom, and the spacing between both is the right one, right? So the only thing I have to do is just, when I lower the image size, you see how you hit thick blue blind line on the vertical and the other images. It's telling me that the image right now is the same height. Same thing when I push to the side. When the image next to it, at the bottom, you see the thick blue line, it's telling me that it's the same width. If I want to make sure that is correct, up here, it's telling me the width, 1201 pixels. See, if I go to the one, it's 1201 pixel. So I can do it that way visually, or I can just basically come here and just put 1201, and it will actually, it will match the measurements. So that is very nice, very fast to design spreads. If you want to scale an image within the whole, you can come here. You make sure you select the right image, and then you can scale it up on the right hand side. You can change opacity. You can add border to the image here too. So you have a lot of flexibility and power to do things within here. You can also, and let's say I like this design. The only thing I have to do is say up here, save as template, and we'll save that template for further use in another album. So it is very nice, very fast to design this. Like I said, you can use up and down arrow, or you can come here in this 4 square and it will give you the different templates. So now you can have a visual representation of the templates you want. Do you want to give priority to this template, for example? See the little star here? When you click the star here, but now it will be the first template that shows up in the beginning. When you open now, we try to choose to give priority to that template. So that's basically how easy it is to design. What I wanted to show you now very quickly is once you put it online, this is what your client will see. This is what your client will see, and basically they can, if they're a client, when you identify them as client, he will show up. He will be able to make comments. If it's not identified as a client, he won't be able, or she won't be able to make any comments on the album. Right now here, summary is telling me there's 5 comments right here, and it showed me the new when the comment was added and to the spread. So I already took care of all those comments and made all their adjustment on the album. You can see it as a thumbnails, and you just double click on it and you can see. So whenever the person does comments, it will show up on the app up here on the right hand side. Let me see if I can open real quick. I'm gonna close this album, and I'm gonna open this one, which is the one that has comments. See if they're still there, because I did work on it early this morning, so they may not be there. So the comments will show up in this side. Let me see if they're still here. Okay, if you want to change images from if one, like say you drag over the other one, you can drag images from one timeline to one spread to the other one down here in the timeline. So it's very easy. Oh, here are the comments. See the comments on the right hand side? And I can check mark next to them once I made it, once I did the correction or the adjustment, and I can leave comments for my client, and those comments are being uploaded. When you submit it, it's uploaded, and it tells you up here how many complete spread means how many spread with comments are. Once you check them out, it clears that comment or clears that number there, and it counts down how many you have left. And then when you're done, just basically you hit here to export. You can export to the cloud for proofing, or you can actually export to print. You can actually export to both if you want to. But like I say, you export to print. You tell it where you want to print it. You want to say you want all spread or arrange, or you want to export in a single page. Here is going to give you a summary of your. This is a 12:8 album. Its spread is 22.9 inch width and 8.39 inch height, 300 dpi, and JPEG, which are the specs for Graphistudio. But I also can check. You can check. Before I forget, you can check the color profile in case of Graphistudio XRGB, and you can check select to export as JPEG, PDF, PSD with its own image and in each individual layer, or as an InDesign document which is image in individual layers. So you can even go and do further changes in Photoshop or InDesign. That's how neat the program is, how flexible and powerful it is. So I hope this short or long tutorial has helped you understand a little bit Smart Album and how it works well with Graphistudio books. And the specs are there. I checked them. But obviously, you want to check every time you export something before you send it to Graphistudio. Just make sure you actually make sure that everything is right. It's your responsibility, not Graphistudio, not Smart Album 2, to make sure that what you submit to your album company is the right, everything is right according to specs. But in my experience, he does a great job. I haven't found any issues yet. But if you want to make sure, just open the document in Photoshop and check the measurements. Or you want to even be more sure, just open the spread in Graphy software. It will tell you right away if everything is cool, and you can export it from there and upload to Graphistudio. You can upload as a PDF, or you can upload as a JPEG, or you can upload as a graphic software document. So that's the three options you have. Hopefully this helped you. If you have any questions, let me know in the group or to my email, which is in the group. And have a great day.